Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Tyron Smith's departure creates multiple problems along Cowboys' offensive line. The chances of having a good weekend took a turn on Friday night when it was reported that longtime Dallas Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith was joining the New York Jets in free agency. It is a one-year deal worth up to $20 million, but much of that money is from playing incentives. Consider that the last NFL game to be played before Tyron Smith was a member of the league was the Super Bowl that Mike McCarthy won at then Cowboys Stadium as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. It has obviously been quite the while. Even though Smith has missed plenty of time over the last few seasons, he has not played a full season since 2015 and prior to 2023 had missed significant time 3 years running. That he is now elsewhere means he will be completely unavailable to the Cowboys. It is fair to say that it was time for them to live in finality one way or another with him, but the context of the season before them matters as well, which makes watching him walk difficult. What exactly is that context? Where does the team go from here? The first domino has fallen along the offensive line and we are about to watch the rest go. Cowboys trade proposal would bring Bell Cow, Texans RB to Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys are still searching for their next running back, and the solution could lie with the Houston Texans. In terms of low risk, high reward options, Dameon Pierce could make a lot of sense as a Cowboy. On March 17, Blogging the Boys writer David Howman suggested Pierce as a trade target. While Howman admits that Pierce's stock has fallen over the past year or so, he explains that he is still worth considering. While the Cowboys have done some due diligence on a couple free agent running backs, Pierce would be an excellent trade candidate, Howman wrote. His running style fits well into this offense and Dallas would have him under contract for 2 years, with his cap hit never going higher than $1.3 million. Between Pierce's diminished role in Houston and the Joe Mixon trade, the Cowboys could likely get him for a relatively cheap compensation. That kind of price is something that RB-needy teams like Dallas can't afford to turn down. Spotrac estimates that the Cowboys only have $4 million in cap space to work with, so saving money is as important as ever. Dameon Pierce begins NFL career with Texans. Pierce joined the Texans as a 4th-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft after playing his college ball at Florida. While the Texans were a year from QB C.J. Stroud in 2022, Pierce was a bright spot during a difficult season. According to Pro Football Reference, Pierce totaled 939 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in 13 games in 2022. The former Gator averaged 4.3 yards per carry, and also added 30 receptions for 165 yards and another touchdown. That's about as good as it gets for rookies, but the sophomore slump was also real for Pierce. Fellow Texans RB Devin Singletary became the hot hand in 2023, and Singletary's usage and production drastically dropped. In 14 appearances, Pierce ran for 416 yards and 2 touchdowns. While that's not ideal, the silver lining is that Pierce hasn't been ran into the ground over the past 2 years. For the Cowboys or any other interested team, he's still just 24 with plenty of gas in the tank. Cowboys called out for offseason strategy. Other than the signing of LB Eric Kendricks, the Cowboys have brought in 0 free agents. While Dallas doesn't have tons of holes to fill across the roster, there are clear spots like RB and defensive line that are still lacking. For CBS sports analyst Garrett Podale, the approach is the definition of nonchalant. This inactivity indicates the Cowboys' front office doesn't mind not being able to make many moves at the start of free agency. This nonchalant attitude only hurts the team and precludes them from re-signing 8-time Pro Bowl left tackle Tyron Smith, 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback Stephon Gilmore and a running back to replace Pollard among other critical transactions, Podale wrote. Kendricks is an exciting addition, but there's no clear sign that the Cowboys will address other spots in free agency. Dallas fans may have to wait for the NFL Draft in order to see what other reinforcements are coming in. Cowboys tabbed, best fit, for reunion with 5-time Pro Bowler. As it turned out, the acquisition of Stephon Gilmore last spring was ideal for the Cowboys, because he stepped into the top corner's role once Trevon Diggs was injured in Week 2 and the guy who bumped up into the opposite starting job, Darren Bland, had a breakout year, establishing himself as a starter going forward. Assuming Diggs is healthy in 2024, the penny-pinching Cowboys might not find themselves in need of another corner. Still, even at 33, Gilmore was excellent last year, and having depth, talent and continuity in the defensive backfield would not be a bad thing. Gilmore is still a free agent, and with free agent money drying up around the league, he could be a bargain. He is a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro in 12 NFL seasons, after all. The Cowboys like Gilmore, obviously. And they like bargains. Owner Jerry Jones has made clear early in free agency that he is not going to spend big on this roster. That could make them a match for bringing back Gilmore as part of a DB rotation. At Bleacher Report, they're seeing the possibility of a Cowboys-Gilmore reunion as a best fit for the veteran. Cowboys should be cautious of Darren Bland breakout. In an article this week titled, Best Fits for NFL's Most Intriguing Available 2024 Free Agents, BR's David Kenyon wrote that the Cowboys and Gilmore should run it back. The veteran cornerback has been consistently great at each stop, most recently for the Dallas Cowboys. He yielded 6.9 yards per target and a passer rating of only 82.7 in 2023, ending the season with 13 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. Dallas should consider keeping him, although the return of Trevon Diggs after Darren Bland's breakout year complicates that picture. One of the big questions the Cowboys will have entering 2024 is Bland himself, and whether his stellar showing last year will repeat itself. He landed an 89.5 season grade from Pro Football Focus, which ranked number 2 among all cornerbacks in the NFL. But that was built largely on the strength of an incredible run in the first 12 weeks of the year, which included 5 interceptions returned for touchdowns. He tailed off in coverage late in the year and in the playoffs. Bland was a 5th-round pick in 2022, without a deep pedigree as a star corner, so the question of whether his 2023 performance is repeatable should make the Cowboys cautious. Stephon Gilmore still a reliable veteran. There is no reason to be cautious about Gilmore, though. He is coming off a contract in which he earned $20 million over 2 years, originally signed by the Colts. According to Spatrack, he has a market value of $11.4 million on a 1-year deal. Given his age, that makes some sense. But given the state of the market, he could wind up having to sign on a discount deal with a contender. The rival 49ers are a potential suitor. Pro Football Focus projects a Gilmore deal at 1 year, $10 million. The site summed up his free agent credentials. Gilmore's trade from the Indianapolis Colts to the Dallas Cowboys this offseason got him back to playing contending football, and he hasn't skipped a beat at any point as he's moved around over the past few years. Gilmore still thrives in single coverage and can jostle with the more physical receivers who play through contact, timing his leap well on contested catches and jumping routes with top-end play recognition.